Hello, my name is Ripley. Welcome to the video.
What's up, schmucks? So I decided to risk the coronavirus and go see Christopher Nolan's Tenet in theaters. I went to a Regal theater near my house with a friend and we had a great time. The theater was empty and everything felt clean and safe. Everyone working had a mask on, we had our masks on. Everything was good. I had a good time. I didn't feel unsafe. So let's just get right into the review. Tenet is the latest Christopher Nolan movie to make your head hurt. It stars John David Washington as the protagonist, actual character name, Robert Battenbat as Neil, I think, Elizabeth Debicki as someone, and Kenneth Branagh as some Russian dude. I honestly can't remember their names. So the gist of this movie is that the protagonist has to go on a globe-trotting mission involving time travel, sort of, to prevent the start of World War III. I'm gonna come out and say it, I don't know how I feel about this movie. For a huge part of it, I was very annoyed by how overly complicated Nolan was making everything, but then there came a point where I understood everything, I think, but I was also still annoyed because it was so complicated getting to that moment when the explanation was quite simple in the long run. I think Nolan's mindset for this movie was to confuse the audience just enough to the point where they won't think too hard about time travel, because I tried wrapping my head around it while the movie was still going and I missed out on some pretty important beats of dialogue. There's a lot of running around in the first act of this movie, a lot of doing things to achieve a thing, but then doing that thing to achieve another thing. But along the way we get some really good stuff, so it's not that bad, you know? Like, the end goal might not be interesting, but the journey getting there, it's pretty fun. John David Washington is great in this movie. He's funny, but he's also a badass. There came a point where he becomes time-bending James Bond. That was pretty fucking cool. It also took me until this movie to realize just how handsome Robert Pattinson is. Like, that jawline could cut some fucking diamonds, dude. Holy shit. But he's quite charming, and he's really funny, and he bounces off John David Washington really well. I really like their chemistry. Kenneth Branagh is kind of a weak villain in my opinion. I thought his motivations for his schemes were pretty weak, but he was also quite scary in certain scenes involving Elizabeth Debicki. Elizabeth Debicki is also fairly good in this movie, but she's like the women in most of Nolan's movies. She's a plot device. She's just something for the protagonist to fight for, something he can try and protect, because he simps so hard for this woman, it's annoying. Like, if he was an incel, this movie would be half as long. I should mention just how beautiful this movie is, though. There's big sweeping camera shots of cities and boats and deserts, and they all look gorgeous, with cinematography by Hoyt von Hoytman, and are made even more appealing by a fantastic score from Ludwig Göransson. I know I said both of their names wrong, I'm sorry. Also, the action set pieces in this movie are fucking phenomenal. They're bombastically loud like all of Nolan's movies, but they're so visually stunning and they're excellently filmed. There's a fist fight in a hallway where one of the fighters is fighting in reverse, and that was really cool. There's a kitchen brawl with sound design so good it gave me an erection, and there's even a big plane explosion. All of this is made better knowing that Nolan refused to use any CGI in this movie, because the guy is a cinematic psychopath. Cinematic psychopath. I actually really like that. Can I put that on a shirt? This review's pretty short because I don't really know how I feel about this movie. I definitely liked it. I didn't dislike it, but I also don't know if I understand it. I'm gonna go see it again in a couple days, and then I'll probably review it again just to see if a second viewing enhances or diminishes my opinion. But for now, Tenet is a blast. It was worth seeing in theaters, but if I had seen it on TV, I probably still would have liked it. It's not the movie that's gonna save movie theaters, but it is really good. The action scenes are fantastic. The characters are entertaining enough aside from a weak villain. The movie is gorgeous and it sounds beautiful, and the concept is quite interesting, but I found it a little overly and unnecessarily complex. I definitely recommend you see Tenet though, if the opportunity arises. Obviously, stay safe. Don't go if you feel unsafe. You can wait for the Blu-ray, definitely. But this was my first cinema experience since The Invisible Man back in March, and I had a good time. I really enjoyed Tenet, and I'm looking forward to seeing it a second time. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a fantastic day.
This concludes the